Welcome back, everybody. This is the Michael Blum Show. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves this evening. Feel free to give me a call. I'm dying to try out my new phone system here, but no one's giving me a buzz today. It's okay. Last week we had 2 or 3 callers. The week before that we had like 8. Maybe now, I don't know what's going to go on. Oh, by the way, I wrote this little tune. I write all my stuff to avoid copyright infringement. It's called I Funk, Therefore I Am. And it's always amazing to me how some people love the funk, some people hate the funk. You know, it can be a wonderful thing to be funky, and then it can be a terrible thing to be in a funk. But anyway, I digress. Give us a call. Number here is 800-699-0980. Again, that's 800-699-0980. If for no other reason than to just help me check out my phone system. Someone just mentioned something to me. And this is about, did you notice that hi, how you doing, Gregory? Did you notice that this whole Russian kind of deal, where it's kind of fallen out of the media limelight at this point? Other than people freaking out because a senator went to visit the president today. Oh, it's got to be, it's terrible, it's terrible. He's head of a committee. He's talking about, maybe he's just talking about his grandchildren, like Loretta did. Loretta Lynch, remember her? Not the singer. Not Loretta Lynn, Loretta Lynch. She did. Maybe that's what Nunez is doing today. He went in just talking about the grandchildren, with the president. That's he has some, and I imagine I know Trump has some. So maybe that's what it's about. So we have this usual thing going on this week in England, Londonistan, if you will, with the first. With the first Muslim mayor of London. That's very, very good. One of the most popular, if not the most popular male name in London nowadays is Mohammed, you have to realize. So you got to realize that, that's Khan is the guy. He's Mayor Khan. But you got to realize that where you're born nowadays does not necessarily mean that you are a fan of that place. And when you have like an attack like this guy did where he mowed people down on the bridge and then went into and stabbed a couple of people near Parliament, I mean, the first thing that seems to come out of their mouth is that, well, what the mayor of London said, well, and he said this about New York, but now I guess he can live it himself, is that, well, if you live in a big city, expect that that's the norm now. That's what's going to happen. Every now and then you're going to do that. And you can expect it as a norm if you want, but I kind of remember a time in the United States where although things like that did happen, they didn't happen that frequently. And they didn't happen with like in a bizarre mindset. So when all of these things happen, you get, well, we have to make sure that the Muslim community isn't inflamed by this. And what I'm saying at this point in time is screw the Muslim community. I'm not really concerned with the Muslim community. They can be concerned with themselves. I'd love to hear them come out more and talk about more of what's going on. But I'll be damned if I'm going to go ahead and not look at what's actually happening in front of my own face and go ahead and go, this isn't happening, which is what Democrats do all the time, a complete denial of reality. This guy would like you to believe that there's something wrong with you, and if you have any fear of Muslims for some reason, even though, honestly, let's face it, folks, not every terrorist in the world is a Muslim, and not all Muslims are terrorists. But all the ISIS guys, all of these jihadists, they are Muslims. And there's nothing wrong with you. And that's my point today. If you fear that, or if you look twice when you see someone in a hijab, don't let anyone tell you that that's not normal and that's not right. Because it is. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel. That's how it is. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel in this country. Still, unless you're like Canada, which passed something the other day about that it's against the law now to say something against Muslims. Well, that's nice. That's like trying to have the government make laws telling you how nice you can be. They'll make a law to help with climate control. Tell them what to do. Okay. So like someone just said, he wouldn't get on a plane with them. You know what? You do what you feel is right in your heart, because 100% of all of the ISIS terrorists are Muslims. So you know what we should do? Do like the Democrats do. Let's find a 98-year-old Chinese woman and go ahead and pester her to get onto a jet. Because she, you don't want a profile. You don't want to actually go to the people that are hurting you and do something about it now, do you? And they go through all of this nonsense, and you could just hear it in the word, the Lone Star. He was a Lone Star, the guy in London. He was well, since that Lone Star was killed, they went into his house, and they've arrested 7 other people. So I guess he wasn't so alone. But the media wants you to believe that. They want you to believe that, oh, it was a Lone Star. Then what else do they say? They say, well, he was born in London. In other words, he's one of us. He wasn't an immigrant. Well, I got news for you. You can read this. I started to look it up. I didn't read everything, but there are a couple of journals in sociology that talk about the second generation as compared to the first generation that immigrants. And I'll going to read more about that. We'll talk about it once I know a little bit more. But that was interesting. So basically, you have, oh, well, he was born here. That doesn't make a difference anymore. It doesn't make a difference anymore. London and Paris are a dump. I understand that. I haven't been there in years and years and years, and I thought London was kind of creepy 15 years ago when I was there, something like that. Paris, Paris is sitting outside of the Eiffel Tower eating falafels, and shawarma. It's completely different. So you don't have to have, Paris does not have to be French anymore. And someone who was born in England doesn't necessarily mean they're English. You are where your allegiances are. If your allegiance is to ISIS, if your allegiance is to terrorism, then that's what you are. Who gives a crap where you were born? Does it make any difference? The only reason that the Democrats or these people do that is so that for some reason, well, he was born here. You don't have to worry about illegals then. He was born here. I'm amazed. That's illegals coming into the country. It's unbelievable. It says, is there a certain number of people that should die first before someone actually has enough balls to go ahead and do something about it? And what's Trump doing? That horrible, crazy, Islamophobic, xenophobic nut job. He's asking people to abide by the laws of the United States. What a terrible thing. Can you imagine that? Someone asking people to obey the law. Isn't that unbelievable? What would I do if faced with an attack? That's a great question, and I asked that once on a show a little while ago. So let's say you're sitting somewhere and you're eating your meal at the food court, at the local mall, and all of a sudden you hear someone going, "Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!" screaming, and you hear stuff. What do you do? Do you know what to do? Do you think anyone's going to prepare you for what to do? What do? I'd get up and run as fast as I can away. Also, I do have a license to carry a sidearm, which I almost never carry. I don't know if I should tell the people that, but run first. Yeah, run first, get out of the way, seek shelter, get behind something if there's gunfire. There are certain things that you should go ahead and do that. The fact that the libs try to make a soft blow to Muslims, to me, is just political nuts. Political craziness. Okay, we could talk about guns and talk about all that stuff, by the way, if you'd like. Feel free to give me a call. I'm missing some interaction with people, and that would be 800-699-0980. So let's go now. We get to this stuff going on in London, and this is such a sad story. I had the one guy who was there for his 25th wedding anniversary. Well, you only say, well, it's a small percentage of people that experience these things. Well, for him, his wife, and his family, it's 100%. It's 100%. This woman is never going to have a good day in her life where she goes ahead and thinks about on an anniversary how wonderful things are. Everything for the rest of her life is going to be absolutely tainted. It's unbelievable. But that's where we are. So now we have something else going on here. We got like in Montgomery County. Now we're not in England anymore. And we have the rape of that schoolgirl. And, of course, it was sanctuary status. Okay. It says, and again, let's see. Okay. I was going through some of my notes. So, anyway, we have here that we have this 14-year-old student who was forced into the boys' bathroom and raped by 2 fellow classmates. Okay, they were not your typical students. They were grown men. They were aged 17 and 18. And to be quite honest, I looked at the pictures. I think they're more like 22 to 25. Okay, and they were in a sanctuary school in a sanctuary place, and they sanctuarily raped the girl. Okay, The question I would have is that why would two men who are old enough to be like in the army be in the ninth grade? Is this because they were assigned to school as illegal aliens when they came into the sanctuary? I mean, obviously there's been absolutely no vetting here. Okay, it says they were assigned freshman status by the welcoming schools with no questions asked. And one of them, they haven't released the information about the other one because he's a minor. God forbid you'd know. You know, he's 17, not 18, so they're not going to tell you that he's illegal too. But I'm pretty sure he is. But anyway, this guy, Sanchez, is certainly illegal, claiming to be 18 years old. All right, take a look at this guy. I mean, God, this guy is not 18 years old. Okay? So why do you know what's the horrible thing about it? I don't really care about these guys. I don't care about them at all. What I care about is the fact that a 14-year-old girl had to spend her time in a classroom sitting next to illegal aliens, someone who's a criminal, who are grown men that don't speak English. That's the question we should be asking ourselves. She shared a classroom with these grown-ups. Gee, we are so sorry this happened. I mean, and what will the school say? What do you think the school says? School says, we have to do a better job vetting this. This is a terrible thing. No, of course not. Why would they do that? Okay. The students there were at one point in time actually protesting in Montgomery County. You know, no hate, no fear, no immigrants. I'm sorry, no hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. That was the kind of the chanting for this school. So basically they got what they wanted, and this was the result. We cannot allow people to be so fearful that they keep their children away from school because they're afraid their children will be taken. Well, that's what's going on. What do you want a parent to do? Make believe like you do? Make believe there's some other altered reality that exists when it doesn't? You know, it says since, schools... The school's answer to all of these things is always in the favor of the people who perpetrate these crimes. It's terrible. It's terrible. The school believes maybe this girl did something about it. Maybe this girl's lying. And certainly she's intolerant. You know, keep them away from our American babies ain't going to happen. You're going to have to keep them away. You know, and someone else just posted something about about sessions ending today, I think through executive order, the funding of a lot of these sanctuary cities, because what's going on there just is against the law. Unbelievable. And here, the school principal. This is what you get from all these folks. Here's the exact stuff that they said. The superintendent, Jack Smith, assured parents that these horrors do not represent the positive values of our students and school communities. Oh, I thought your school community's values were to go ahead and rape children. So this is a real shock to me that you'd mention this. How astute, okay? And he concluded with the safety and security of every student in our district is our top priority and is a responsibility that we do not take lightly. Ensuring safe, secure, welcoming learning environment for all our students is our top priority. Bullshit. You prove that it's not. You prove here that your concern is not for the children, is not for their safety. You're goddamn lying pigs. And you have your heads so stuck so far up your democratic political assholes you cannot smell anything other than your own stink. Hate to put it that bluntly, but that's basically what it is. How annoying. Can you imagine that? You have a daughter that's raped by people that shouldn't be in the school, that are there illegally, that can't speak English, that would just plop there without being vetted. Like a bunch of cancer cells being plopped just into your body. You know? And they say that they're ensuring a safe, secure, welcoming learning environment? Where? You kidding me? Unbelievable. The illegals here in this case, they get more, they're treated as being way more important than the students that actually live there. You know, it's unbelievable what's going on. You know, my answer to that is homeschool and the school credits, which of course the Democrats don't want because they are given tons of money by the union, so they don't want to do anything against the teachers. Has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with what's good for the United States. It has only to do with their pocketbook, period. And that's all that they're concerned with. And a lot of Republicans do. Okay, I don't want you to think that I don't go across the aisle for that. For that, I do. My answer would be you got to homeschool them. I mean, I read something a few years ago. My master's degree is in education, so voucher schools. I read a whole bunch of things about the fact that basically there's um, almost no need at all to have schools. And what they did, what there was one group in one community was doing is they realized too that they're paying a lot of money to go ahead and do to go ahead and have their children watched or daycare and all of that and with the schools. So they kind of combined a little bit. It was kind of a good idea. What you had was a group of mothers, and each mother decided, well, look, my specialty is math, my specialty is this, I can do that, I can do that. And what would happen is that one mother would come and run that class for the day or half the day, and they would switch off. And basically, these kids got taught at home. They were homeschooled, and they were doing much better than anyone else. I thought it was a really good idea that parents are going to need to do this. You don't even need the damn schools anymore. Forget it. I was a school teacher for 7 years for the New York City Board of Education. I taught emotionally disturbed children and neurologically impaired kids, physically disabled. I gave it my all when I did that. I can guarantee you that there are things that I did then that I would be arrested for and thrown out of the school if I did now, because my intentions, no matter what, were to see that my kids did better. And I'd break any rule to go ahead and get that done. But the idea was better. Better for them. Not for me, better for them. And what you have here is you have a government, both sides, that is not doing anything that's better for us. And people really, really are getting sick and tired of it. Let's see. Oh, this is also the same county. You'd figure they'd learn. Montgomery County, they raised their property taxes by 8.7% to address the extremely high cost of educating illegals who don't speak English. So you have some of these schools where they're speaking like 10 different languages in the school. How is any of this helpful to people in the United States? How is any of this helpful? We're going to learn, oh, well, we're a country of immigrants. Well, idiot, you want to go back to the 1940s when people came here after World War II? If you want to use those immigration policies, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's wonderful. Go ahead and let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. They couldn't get welfare. We get these people come in now, they immediately get onto the dole. And some of them do produce, but the last studies I read is they may be producing half of what they'd actually make. So you may have someone here getting $30,000 a year in benefits who's here illegally, and they work and they declare $15,000 of that as actual work, and they pay income tax on that. In no way, in any way, deals with the fact of this expense. And look at the expense that the schools are going through too. It's not just it's not the expense of SNAP cards, housing, welfare. It's the schools now, extra people, extra teachers for the people, language people. I mean, it's an intense burden, an amazing burden. And people don't seem to really realize that. And people are just afraid of speaking their minds right now. Folks, most of us are not bigots. Some people really just don't care about the other people. And that's fine too. Do no harm. Do whatever you want, feel however you want, say however you want, as long as you're not infringing on someone else's civil liberties. I know that sounds kind of libertarian of me. That's my streak. But as long as you can do that, then do it. You do not have to put up with this nonsense. So, well, you're a racist. You're afraid of black people. Well, you know what? Statistics say that I am 7 to 10 times more likely to get killed by a black person than a white person. Why shouldn't I be a little bit apprehensive? What's wrong with that? It's unbelievable. What's wrong with that? Feel how you feel. It's not that big a deal to go ahead and look around your shoulder and take a look every now and then who's following you or what's going on. And it's not upsetting to go ahead and express your opinion when you know it to be something from the heart. And usually that means it's also something that's right. It doesn't have to mean that, but usually it does. That's usually what it means. So the safety of the students here in the school, nonsense. So they had to actually raise their taxes now. These citizens now, they're paying extra. They're paying extra. I mean, I cannot. Sorry. Should have hit my little button there. I have a good button here. I can go ahead and talk and just hit it, and then you don't. And that's how it works. But, I have to laugh. I have to laugh because it's so pathetic. I mean, so here you have this county that's had its property taxes raised by 8.7%. That's not a small amount. Okay, because they need the money to educate illegal aliens, because the illegal aliens come here obviously without any knowledge of English. So, all of the sanctuary crap has its cost. I mean, it has its cost in money, it has its cost in dollars, it has its cost in raping, it has its cost in emotional poverty for people who are subjected to this. It's really kind of nuts. And, maybe we should just, got to go ahead and, listen to Mayor Khan from London. Maybe we all just need to get used to it. What do you think? Maybe we just need to get used to it. That's how it's going to be, Give me a call, 800-699-0980. 800-699-0980. I would love to hear from someone just so that I can go ahead and hear something other than my own voice. I have been talking again here almost a half an hour. Let me see if there's anything going on here. If those people who are afraid to call, but a lot of the people here like to post stuff as I'm talking here on Periscope. And by the way, if you want to listen to this show, I usually take a show. If I feel it's good, I'll chop it up into pieces and I put it on my website so you can listen to it after the fact. And that's michaelblumshow.com. If you go to blumradio.com, you get to the same place, BLUM, radio.com. So you can go ahead and you can pick that up. Any of those things that have been pre-recorded and re-recorded and posted. If you want to hear us live, the best way to do that really is to just go ahead and join. To realize that we do this pretty much every Monday. I do post on Facebook and I will tweet if I'm not going to do the show, but for you to get any of that information at all, you have to join us somehow. So please do that. Please do that so that we can get together here as a group of people. I would love to see people actually get together here and organize something. But that maybe is in the future, but it's something that it would be very thrilling for me. I hope it would be for you too. So anyway, if you want to, the best way to do this is to go onto our Facebook page. Go onto our Facebook page, and you can like us and follow us. Just follow us there. And again, everything I'm going to tell you is Michael Blum Show. Michael, it's Michael, Michael Blum Show. And if it's for my website, it would be .com. You go there and you can pick up all of this stuff. Also on the website, as I'm doing these feeds, if you happen not to be on Periscope or on Facebook and you're just sitting at your computer, you can go ahead and hear these feeds live as they occur from my website. Also, just go to the page that says listen now and click the button, and you can choose either the Periscope stream or the Facebook stream. I'm not sure which one comes out and shows me as being more beautiful than I am, but certainly worth the effort to go ahead and do that. So you can follow us again on Twitter. What's the handle? At Michael Blum Show. MichaelBlumshow. So you can do that. Facebook. What's the Facebook page there? I can give you two of them. Oh, I am getting a call. That is awesome. Let's see how this all works. Hi, how you doing? Where are you calling from, and what's your name?
Hey, what's going on, Michael? It's Damien from Georgia.
Hey, Damien from Georgia. What's going on?
Hey, question. I just want to talk about the Jeff Sessions press conference. I don't know if you covered it at all or not.
I didn't. I mentioned it in passing. I didn't see the press conference. I heard some of it on the radio while I was actually at lunch today. Why don't you tell us what he said?
Okay, so the basic gist of his press conference was talking about the fact that illegal aliens are basically being given sanctuary by cities and states across the United States. And I think he said that this week they did like a case study, because you know how the left always lies about sanctuary cities and says it doesn't really happen?
Sure.
So he did a DOJ audit for like a week, and he found out just in 1 week there was 200 cases, just doing a simple, a test case, 200 cases of cities and states that let murderers, rapists, pedophiles, felons, basically let them free to where they were not deported, even though they had done things just as bad as murder even.
Sure.
And the cities had protected them from deportation. So there's an interesting thing that there's so many places that keep us from that, from deporting felons.
It is crazy when you look at it and you actually figure it out. Basically what we're asking is that people obey the law. And I think I'm going to maybe I'll talk about that a little bit when we come back from the break. But basically, there are a couple of things I would love to see happen, Damien. Obviously, defunding all of these cities. They should not get one goddamn federal penny if they're breaking federal law. And I don't say those things lightly because that affects other people, But there's always collateral damage in a war, even if it's a political war. And sometimes that might not be the worst thing. But basically, all of those services, anything that comes through the federal government for those cities or states or schools or whatever, they should get zip. They should get nothing. The other thing I would really like to do is that there was a small article, I wasn't really going to talk about it, about a couple of like little lily white, tiny little 1,000-person towns up in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is like 99% white folk. And they decided they would become sanctuary hamlets. So you have this, and to me, this is typical liberal stuff. So you have these folks that they know they're never going to get involved with that. No one's coming to them. That would be the other thing that I would do. I would go ahead. Oh, let me see here. I think I'm getting another call. Hold on, Damien. I'm going to see what I can do here and merge these two. So we're all talking together. Maybe a little bit of a mess, but we'll see how that all works. Okay. So everyone should be on with me now. Caller, where are you calling from and what's your name?
Hey, my name's Roy. I'm calling from Kentucky.
All right, Roy from Kentucky. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. We're talking about illegal aliens, and we're talking about sanctuary cities, and we're talking about defunding them. What do you think?
Oh, defunding sanctuary cities?
Yep.
Oh, definitely. There should be no sanctuary cities for illegal aliens.
All right, cool. I agree. Is there anything specific you wanted to add to the show? Anything you got to tell us?
I was just calling to see what you think about Baba Booey's teeth and the recent discovery we've had and what we've made.
I missed part of that. A recent discovery from what?
Hello?
I'm here. I didn't understand your question.
Oh, I said, what do you think of Baba Booey's teeth and the new discovery we've had?
I don't know who Baba Booey is. I'm slow and old, and I'm not with it. So you got to really take it slow with me. Let's try it again.
All right. Basically, Baba Booey. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Baba Booey and his teeth, basically.
Is what? Oh, Baba Booey, Howard Stern stuff and all of that? Yeah, I remember that name from Baba Booey and all of that. I don't really care about Baba Booey.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hold on for a second, Kentucky. Damien, can you hear me? Damien, are you there? So something gets screwy with that. Okay. Sorry, Baba Booey. I'm going to be hanging up on you. Okay. I have to see it merge the calls, but I don't know if anything happened. Sorry to hang up on you, Damien, but I'll tell you the other piece, and then I'm going to go to a break. Not only do I think that they should be defunded, I think that I wouldn't say as additional punishment, but as a learning experience for them, what we should do is any and all of the illegal aliens that come in, I think they should be put into those places. Not the sanctuary cities necessarily, but yeah, we could put them there. I think there's some non-sanctuary cities we should put them in too. But basically, cut the funding to them, cuts them off, load them up then with the people that they want, and let them deal with it. Load them up with all the illegal aliens they want. I would send them up to New Hampshire, to these hamlets. Let them go ahead. I'm sure that a Somali family will just meld right into the picture there in New Hampshire, don't you? I think it'll work fine. We can do that, and that's great. I mean, the Somalis have a lot to offer the people up there in New Hampshire. I think they would enjoy that. And then I would also put them in some places, basically, that they're not sanctuary cities necessarily. I think Hollywood loves all of this. I think we should go ahead and put a bunch of people in Malibu, maybe Studio City, all of those people. I mean, all of them should have. Don't you think that every single artist there, multi-million-dollar artist, maybe they should actually adopt a couple of them? But the thing is that liberals, particularly rich liberals, don't mind creating a crap hole for you because they can just leave. They just leave. They can just move away, and then that's the end of that. Damien, I'm sorry that I did try to merge the calls. I don't know if you hung up or what happened, but we'll try again. Anyway, the phone system seemed to work pretty well. Thank you both, Kentucky and Georgia, for calling me up. You're listening to the Michael Blum Show, and I will be back in about, I don't know, how many minutes is this? I don't know. We'll time it and see this time around.